What's going on, everybody? You're listening to Circle the Circle. This is your host, Stephen Pierce, and the NHL season is just around the corner. It is Wednesday, October 7th, 2 days from now, and it's going to be a very exciting year. Now, the New York Rangers have narrowed their roster down to 23 players. This proves to be what you're looking to see on Wednesday night in Chicago versus those reigning Stanley Cup champions, the Blackhawks. Now, the lineup, as projected, as of right now, the Rangers practiced with this lineup on Friday. Vigneault said that this would probably be who they were going with. The first line is Rick Nash, Derek Brassard, and Matt Zuccarello. Nothing really shocking there. Same kind of lineup you're expecting in the second lineup as well, except that one spot vacated by Marty St. Louis, who retired this offseason. There was a lot of controversy over whether or not JT Miller was going to get this role or Kevin Hayes. Now, before I go into my thoughts and my views on JT Miller and Kevin Hayes, let me just say right now, it's projected as Chris Kreider, Derek Stepan, and Kevin Hayes, which is the best choice, personally, in my mind. That guy has got some hands, he's got some vision, he's a big guy, he played wing all throughout college. That's what you want him to be. You want him to be that winger. I'll leave that be for a second. The third line, couldn't be happier about this one either. Victor Stahlberg, Oscar Lindbergh down the middle, and JT Miller. That's the way it should be. That creates three strong scoring lines. It's going to be phenomenal. And the best part about this fourth line is you got Dom Moore, Jared Stoll, and Jesper Fast. Phenomenal fourth line, because you got Dominic Moore and Jared Stoll, who are righties and lefties respectively, who can win faceoffs on their strong side. They'll probably alternate all the time, playing the wing and center. And then you got a guy like Jesper Fast. That is a shutdown line. That's phenomenal. All those guys are going to be on the penalty kill, stepping up huge this year with the departure of Carl Hagelin. He's now on the Anaheim Ducks. That looks phenomenal to me. On the defensive end, you got the Mac, Ryan McDonough, and Dan Girardi paired together. Nothing unusual there. You got Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle. Also nothing unusual there. Keith Yandel and Kevin Klein will round out that order. No moves on the defensive end right now. No one's been traded, so that is such a rarity today in the NHL to have the salary cap to bring back the same starting six defensemen that you had the year before. That's unheard of, and that looks phenomenal to me. Besides, Grandpa Dan Boyle, but you know what? Maybe he'll impress me this year. He had an injury the first game last year, which was a little upsetting. He broke his hand, but let's hope that he gets off to a better start. And then you got your extras. You got Dylan McIlrath is the seventh defenseman. And then you got Tanner Glass and Emerson Edom as your extra forwards. So that rounds up a pretty solid lineup. And then, of course, you got the King and Nat Henrik Lundqvist. And then you got Antti Raanta backing him up. So that looks pretty good. But this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about why I believe Kevin Hayes is the no doubt about it second liner on this team. He has the vision, the size. He played wing all throughout college. He knows the position well. He has that scoring touch. He led the Rangers in points on the back half of the season. He was one of the best rookies last year. Obviously, Philip Forsberg was phenomenal. Gustav Nyquist, all these guys were very, very good. Johnny Gaudreau, his good friend who played with him at Boston College. Those guys are phenomenal, but Kevin Hayes should not be undervalued as a phenomenal rookie last year. And going into his sophomore season, I only think he gets better. He plays with Derek Stepan, and he plays with Chris Kreider. That line is going to be phenomenal. This guy's young. He can pass the puck. He can do so much with it. He's quick. He uses his body. He looks almost like a little bit of a Rick Nash. He's even bigger than Rick Nash, which is phenomenal. Obviously, he's not going to maybe be the Rick Nash, but wow, this guy looks really good. He's really capable of scoring goals. Of feeding the puck to everybody. I think Stepan's number improved coming off that 6-year contract he just signed. I think Kreider, if he doesn't score 30 goals this season, are you freaking kidding me at this point? He has to step up. He has to play. Him, Stepan and Kreider, and Hayes, they have to have a big year on that second line. That's going to be the key to the Rangers' success. The main reason I think that JT Miller deserves a third-line spot, if anything, at this point, and listen, I believe he's got potential. I believe his game is improving. I've seen definite improvements over the past 2 years, but I watched Hartford. I go to Hartford Wolfpack quite often. I watch their games, and when I was down there 2 seasons ago when the Rangers were pushing for that Stanley Cup when they made it against the Kings in the final, I Miller has such an attitude problem. I'm sitting behind the bench, the Hartford Wolfpack bench, and he's just sighing. He's just shrugged. He just doesn't look happy to be there. He thinks that he deserves so much more. He thinks that he's a better player. He's playing on the first line in Hartford, and he's not doing anything. He's dumping the puck in, going for quick line changes. He's not he's not skating hard. He's not checking. He's not winning the battles in the corner. He's not doing anything that proves he deserves to be in the NHL. Granted, I mean, the coaches have said that he's made significant improvements, and Vigneault was not afraid to knock him down a peg and be like, listen, your attitude stinks. You need to go down to this line. You need to play on the fourth line for a little while, or send him down to the AHL altogether. And Vigneault, I don't think, is entirely sold on him either, because he's not, well, for now, he's not putting them on that second line. And I completely agree. He still makes these stupid passes. What are you doing? Get your head out of the clouds, man. Miller, why are you throwing the puck in front of your net every time? That is the dumbest pass. It is north-south hockey every time. Do not east to west is not good. How many turnovers are you going to make in front of your own net that lead to a goal? I mean, in the preseason alone, he did nothing that was impressive except make errors. Vigneault said that. All the coaching staff said that. He didn't earn his spot to be there. And Kevin Hayes didn't do too much more, but he's better with the puck. He shields it well. He's able to skate. He made moves. He had good passing. All those things kind of came together. Now, granted, Miller had that phenomenal rush goal against Boston, and it looked pretty good. But that's the last game of the preseason. Maybe his legs are a little rusty, what have you. But you got to show me more if I want to believe that you're a second line player. And I don't know, man. I just don't see it right now. So kudos to you, Vigneault, for putting Hayes up there. I like what I'm seeing. I really dig it. I also like that you have. I mean, I don't like that you have Glass in your team at all, in your roster, but he's not playing right now. Is he going to get playing time? Probably not, but Vigneault really likes him. The guys in the locker room have all said Tanner Glass has been a really good addition to their team. He's really fun in the locker room. He's a really good guy. He'll step up for you no matter what. He's always got your back. They've said nothing but good things about him, but I'm not convinced he fits in this team anymore, and I've already talked about that to an extent, so I won't bore you with that anymore. But I will say, now you have a guy like Dylan McElrath as your seventh defenseman, who is basically just the Tanner Glass of defense. He's he's bigger than Tanner Glass, but he's not afraid to drop the gloves. He showed that multiple times this preseason, that he's not afraid to get in there, get dirty, lay those big hits on them, on the opposing team, especially when it's needed to. He even gets into a scrap here and there. He's a very tough guy. He's very big, 6'5". This guy is mean looking. He's not afraid. But can he play defensively? That's a question that remains to be seen. He played okay, if you ask me, in the preseason. He wasn't impressive really at all. He had a few points. He got into a fight or two. He had some big hits. Still a penalty machine. I know he's been working on that, and he hasn't really played a real full season these past few years because of injuries. But I look to him to get either better, or I'm really curious what Vigneault has him there for. They just don't want to lose him because he won't clear late waivers, and someone else will pick him up, and then he'll come back and hurt him. That's what I'm assuming Vigneault's worried about, and you don't want to lose a former first-round pick, which it's just the Rangers don't have any first-round picks for the next 2 years. They keep throwing them away for trades because they want to win that Stanley Cup. It's just frustrating as a fan. So I guess that makes sense. You don't want to trade away McElrath because of that, and then you don't have to play Glass essentially. If there's a hurt D-man, you put McElrath in there. He's a top 9 guy for sure. He cannot play top 2 or top 6. Excuse me. He can't play top 2 defenseman. He can't be in the top 4. He's got top 6. That's it. That's all I see ever coming out of him, if that. He's a 7th guy. He's a depth guy for now, and that's probably what he deserves to be, unless he proves that he should do more. But his growth is going to be stunted on the bench, just sitting there. So it'll be interesting to see what Vigneault does with him. But then you don't have to play Tanner Glass if he's in the lineup, because he'll step up. He's the guy to throw big hits. He'll do that. He'll take that role from Tanner Glass. And then you got Edom. Maybe Edom plays over Glass. He's also the extra forward as of right now. Edom, wow, he looked bad in the preseason. Maybe in the past, the last 2 games, he looked pretty good. He was starting to speed up. He got his legs underneath him. He was able to make some moves with the puck. He didn't look as rusty. So maybe it's that, but what it really is he didn't play that kind of style in Anaheim. Anaheim they're very big guys. They wanted to get faster, which is why they made a move to Carl Hagelin. They picked up Hagelin. They're going to get faster. They're still a big team, which is what the Rangers are looking to do too. And Edom provides that speed, that offensive potential, but does he actually, live up to that? It remains to be seen. As of right, I didn't see anything in the preseason. Maybe there are little flourishes of it here and there in the last game or two of the preseason, but There's no spot on the team for him right now. Oscar Lindbergh and Victor Stahlberg earned their spots so strongly with very, very good performances in the preseason. So I'm very happy they're playing. They deserved it. I'm looking for big things from them. On the same line together, those Swedes are gonna step up. They're gonna be very good this year, and they have to, because this is a problem the Rangers are going to have. Is obviously you lost Marty St. Louis. He scored 21 goals. He wasn't a huge point producer last year, but still a very, very, very important piece of the team. But a guy like Rick Nash is not going to score 42 goals anymore. Not this season. Maybe he does. Maybe he impresses me, but he's going to go through a regression. He has to. He had a career year last year. He was phenomenal. 30 goals were basically just him driving the net and doing all Rick Nash things, shielding the puck, using his body, flicking a little saucer in there. Like, he's got a phenomenal shot. He does very well with his body. He controls the puck well. But he has to go through a regression. There's no way he can do that again, especially with a guy like Derek Brassard or Derek Stepan, who are not number one guys. They're number one guys for the Rangers down the middle, but they're not actually number one centers on any other team. I like them. They do enough, but they're not going to feed Rick Nash enough to make him score 40-something goals this year. I would be happy if Rick Nash got 30 goals and Chris Kreider also steps up there and gets 30 goals. And I would also be very happy, considering Stepan just signed a huge contract for $6.5 million, if he could come in there and produce like 60 to 70 points, or if he could be a point-per-game player at 82 points, that would be phenomenal. He's got pretty good vision. I think the combination of him, Kreider, and Hayes will be phenomenal. He'll produce a lot of points, especially if Hayes can find the back of the net and Kreider improves. I want 20 goals out of Hayes easy this year. He can score. He's easily a 50 to 60 point guy, and now he's playing the second line, so he should have a good year. I don't want any sophomore slumps, Kevin Hayes. You need to keep working out, keep staying strong. I know you're out of college, but this is your job now. You come in, you do your job every day, you work hard, you get better. You follow the other guys on the team. That's what I'm looking for. And if Miller steps up, that's even better, because the Rangers now roll 3 lines that can score, have offensive potential. The fourth line is a phenomenal shutdown line. They even have like Jesper Fast on that line, who has that offensive game. He worked really hard last season to find his defensive game. He did really well, and now I'm looking for his offense to improve. He already found his defense. That's what has to come now. And in the back end now, you got Keith Yandel, a full season of this guy. I don't like that they traded Anthony Duclair away for this guy, because they didn't need to. They had strong defense, but I know Dan Boyle wasn't getting it done offensively. He's a little older now. That's what you got to expect from a 39-year-old defenseman. You signed him. You got to know that. So then you bring in Glenn Saylor. You bring in Keith Yandel. So where does Dan Boyle fit in now? That doesn't make any sense to me, but they'll probably both work the power play. But the number one unit will be Keith Yandel on the point with 4 forwards. Who they roll out there remains to be seen. It'll probably be Rick Nash, Chris Kreider, maybe Derek Stepan working the point. That makes sense to me. And then Keith Yandel with a full season. He knows the system now. He knows to move the puck. He's comfortable in New York. He knows everything. He had deep playoff experience. I expect him to have a lot more success now. I expect him to put up points. I want him to shoot the puck more. He's very hesitant sometimes. He always makes it look that extra pass. Stop doing that. Put the puck in the back of the net. That's what I want to see from Keith Yandel. And the defensive end, they have a pretty solid team rolling through there, and I look for the Rangers to come out. I'm not even sure if they're capable of coming in first place in the Metropolitan Division this year, because the Pittsburgh Penguins, their forwards are just outrageous. With guys like Phil Kessel coming in there, and then you got Kunitz obviously playing with Crosby, and then you got Hornquist playing with Malkin, and you still got David Perron on the team, and then you got Letang coming back from an injury, and then you got Matta coming back from an injury. I'm not sold on their defense, but they're going to be a very strong team. And obviously the Flower, Marc-Andre Fleury's in the net. He'll probably have a very good year. I'm looking for big things. The Capitals bring in TJ Oshie. They have such a strong team already. Forwards-wise, Backstrom looks to get better from his injury. Hopefully he comes back strong for them. If not, doesn't matter, because Evgeny Kuznetsov, his potential is unlimited. That guy was phenomenal in the postseason last year. I think he steps into the number one center until Nicholas Backstrom gets back. He does very well. And then you look at the Metropolitan Division in the Columbus Blue Jackets, who without injury last year would have, without a doubt in my mind, made the playoffs. They are going to be a very good team. Those teams all together, the Rangers, the Penguins, the Caps, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, those 4 teams, that's going to be competing. Those teams make the playoffs in my mind. I don't think the Flyers or the Devils have a shot at this point. The Hurricanes are still rebuilding. I'm not even worried about that. So I look for those 4 teams to be in some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 order. I think, if anything, it's going to be between the Capitals for first place and the Rangers. That's what I'm seeing. We're going to find out Wednesday night, the start of the NHL season. That is the New York Rangers at the Chicago Blackhawks in Chicago, 7:30 p.m. Oh, it's going to be fun. You've been listening to Circle the Circle. I'm Stephen Pierce.